we were introduced to the patches probably a little over 18 months ago. It'll be 2 years in December. And Jody, my wife, heard about the patches through a friend of ours, Alicia Jones, who we had known for many years. And she had been patching, and she had been battling cancer. And she went to the doctor and got the best report she had ever had since she had contracted this crazy, monstrous disease. And the doctor actually told her she was in remission, and that got our attention. Jody had carpal tunnel in her hands, and she said, will it help with that? She says, sure, give it a try. Long story short, we both ended up deciding to give the patches a run, and we immediately started patching. And within just a couple of weeks or less, we both noticed we were feeling more energy in the day. We were sleeping better through the night. That was the immediate result of the patching. Up at the 2-week mark, I was in the yellow zone of blood pressure, and I had been treating it naturally and just watching my diet, going to the doctor. I was doing everything smart, but I didn't want to go on medication. As a herbalist, I just chose to go the herbal route. And so after 2 weeks, I took my blood pressure and it had dropped 20 points. So that was I was like, whoa, this is huge. And then at the 3rd week, Jody noticed her hands were 80% better. She was wearing these copper gloves to bed every night. I was snoring. I quit snoring, and her hands were like 80% better. And now at 18 months, it's pretty much gone. But on the 3rd week, when she noticed that, my blood pressure had dropped a total of 30 points during the first 3-week period. Then, as we were sitting around, as we progressed through this, one night, Jody asked me, are you dyeing your hair? And I went, no, I dye my sideburns because I don't want to look like Mitt Romney. So I do touch up my sideburns. And my hair was kind of, blend, and so anyway, my hair just started getting darker. And then the next thing I noticed was my pants were getting loose. I jumped on the scale. I hadn't lost any weight, but, I'd like dropped the pant size, during this period. Well, we kept patching and, kept using it. The secret sauce is to keep doing it and don't stop doing it, because there's a compounding effect with this patch, as we have learned personally. So then eventually I did notice I got on the scales and I lost about 20 pounds over the first 8 to 10, 11 months. I was pretty happy with that. But, I started listening to David Smith. I did take a few little tips from our founder on some nutritional supplements. I added the copper supplement every day. Started taking some beta-alanine, and switched my diet up a little bit, started doing more strict intermittent fasting, because that's something, David, our inventor, our founder, encourages people to do. I said, well, I'm going to do it. I've always worked out. I've always, drank my water and ate a fairly clean diet. But up to the point, a lot of people say, well, how'd you gain all your weight and how'd you get so out of shape? We were under a lot of stress before we met Lifeway. We had been with a previous business project. We had to walk away from it. We lost a 6-figure income, which was our retirement income. So life changed for us, and it got, life happens. And so you have to shift. And during this time, I found that the more patching I did, the better I started feeling. And then we started sharing the patches, and it almost, became a new mission and a purpose in life, which kind of revitalized me. And then we started noticing some other things in my life. And that was, I started all of a sudden losing more weight. I wasn't trying to lose weight, but all of a sudden during the 18-month period, I've lost a total of 30 pounds during the whole process. And the major thing that I changed, a lot of people say, well, it's because you were extra. I've always exercised and worked out. Jody and I have won fitness competitions before. We always knew what to do. We didn't always do it. But that's the exciting thing, is that LifeWave and the patches encourages you to do the right thing. Well, we ended up moving back to the beach this past fall, and I was running circles around all these young people and lifting up boxes and furniture, and all these kids in their 20s and 30s. Here this 65-year-old man is out doing, people in their 20s and 30s. They were pooping out on us, and so let's see what else. I had a few notes on here because, when I went to the doctor and got my blood work done, this was pretty exciting for me. The doctor said, well, your blood work's perfect. Your PSA is like 1.3, which is excellent. And he told me my testosterone had increased 200 points. 200 freaking points. Now, I'm going to tell you, that changes everything, life. And so Jody and I are over here acting like teenagers, like we're newlyweds now when it comes to that, So the LifeWave patches have enhanced our sex life, let's just say it. When your hormones are working better, you're feeling better, you're looking good, you're feeling good. And the next thing you know, life is like what it used to be when you were youthful. This is a reverse aging company, And the last thing I see on my notes here, and I didn't want to dismiss that, my eyesight got better. I was getting ready to have to go to the doctor and go to the next prescription. And I could always tell because I wear trifocals, because when I work on the computer, I like the trifocal so I don't have to lean in and read stuff. I can just click up and down. Well, I knew it was time because I was starting to use the middle for the top, and I knew it was time. And so my eyesight improved over the 18 months. So a lot of crazy things. And of course, the inch loss, I went from a 34, 36 waistline to a 30, 32 waistline. So I'm back to, I've got me a 2-pack, Peter, and I'm getting ready to just go ahead and do the 6-pack again, just for the fun of it.
Jody had carpal tunnel to begin with. And let me get this straight. She has shifted her carpal tunnel and doesn't need surgery.
That's correct. It's all better. She had some arthritis, carpal tunnel. She's just pretty much, it's all gone.
What did Jody use for her carpal tunnel? I'm going to imagine.
Yeah, when we first started, when we ordered our first pack, we got the X39 and Eon. And at the time, they were doing the pre-promotion of the X49. So those were the first 3 patches that we used when we first started. And then we later started adding the glutathione. That was, I think, a key patch. But then we started also using carnosine and alabita. We've added that. We use those 3 times a week. 3 days with the alabita, 3 days, with the carnosine. And then we use Eon most every day, every night. And then, of course, sometimes we'll use some of the other patches we have, but those are the main ones that we have used.
Wow.
If you do what our founder tells us to do, and that's, especially with the exercise, drinking your water, he tells us to use weight-bearing weights and stuff. If men will cut out the junk foods, drink more water, start working out, losing some weights, using these patches, they're going to get leaner, and their testosterone is going to increase. I just about guarantee it. And they're going to be happy fellows, I can guarantee it.